Canva acquires Leonardo AI, Shopify launches 150 plus new features, and brand new print-on-demand products launching everywhere in this special What's Happening episode. My name is Kerry Egler, here with my co-host Adrian Von Arx, and welcome to the Print-on-Demand Playbook Podcast. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Print-on-Demand Playbook Podcast. Glad to have you here today. Adrian, what's going on?
Dude, I am good, man. Not a whole lot to report. Just took a little bit of time to visit family in Vancouver recently. Awesome as always. I love just having that freedom to be able to spend time with my family when I want. But yeah, man, that's about it with me. How about you?
That's awesome, man. We just wrapped up another Launch Your Brand Challenge, 5-day challenge. And I wanted to just give a huge shout out to our Print on Demand podcast listeners. Like, we really had a lot of podcast listeners come into the challenge last week with us. Nice. And it was really cool, really good group. And we really like simplified the challenge. You know, we took out some of the elements, made it easier for people to participate, find the streams, all that kind of stuff. And it also made it easier on our team, which was really cool. And so I just wanted to say thank you to any Print on Demand podcast listeners out there that attended the challenge last week. It was awesome. Many of them joined Shirt School, which is really, really cool. And I also want to just throw a quick invite out there. We're thinking about doing these, or we're planning on doing challenges every month for the rest of the year because we've kind of got a little bit of a new format and enabling us to do that. So if you didn't get to be a part of the last challenge, you want to be a part of the next one, we'll leave a link down in the podcast show notes. You can also go over to kerryegler.com/LYB. I know it's hard to spell, so check the show notes. But yeah, I'd love to have more podcast listeners on board because it was awesome.
Right on.
And to branch off of that, I want to share an Apple review or a podcast review. And I'm 99% sure this podcast review, she was at the challenge last week. I remember seeing her name come up. So I wanted to share that review, which is kind of a cool tie-in. This review is from Karen Inskog. Let us know if you're at the challenge. I'm pretty sure I saw your name come through, which is really cool. But Karen left us a review and said, "I love this show. The content is super helpful for anyone doing POD, and the upbeat energy is infectious." Nice little short review. Appreciate that, awesome. Karen.
Love that.
Yeah, thank you, Karen. We appreciate you. We appreciate all the reviews. If you're listening, you love the podcast, definitely leave us a review. We would love to hear from you.
Awesome.
Adrian, you ready to jump in?
Dude, let's jump in. Are we going to start with like the big news?
I mean, I think this is the big one. It's pretty interesting. So this week's episode, we're doing a little bit of news, kind of what's happening in print on demand and e-commerce. I think I checked back. It'd been a few months since we kind of reported on this. This is kind of like a summer update, which is cool. So yeah, we're jumping into the latest news and updates and different things. Our lead story. I feel like a news anchor. We're on
breaking news.
PODP news. PODP news. Our lead story: Canva acquires Leonardo AI. So I'm going to read to you a news article about Canva acquiring Leonardo. This is a pretty big story. It felt like it was kind of everywhere for a couple of days. I don't know. Were you seeing it kind of everywhere?
I heard about it. I wasn't seeing it everywhere, but I think it's a big deal. I mean, we love Canva, but we have thrown a little bit of shade on them lately because of their subpar AI. And we still love them, and we knew it was going to get better, but this is kind of like a significant jump. So this is really exciting for anyone using Canva and wanting to leverage AI. I think it's going to be a real level up.
I think I saw it. I think I saw it on Twitter X. I think I've been spending a lot of time on X lately, and it's where I get a lot of my AI updates. Like just a lot of people posting about AI. So I think I saw it on there. But anyways, I'm gonna read this to you. So Canva acquires Leonardo AI. This is what they wrote. Today, we're incredibly excited to welcome generative AI company Leonardo to the Canva family as we work towards building the world's leading design AI technology. With Leonardo AI's incredible foundational model and team of 120 high caliber researchers, engineers, and designers. This acquisition bolsters our ability to supercharge our growing suite of AI products while investing in continued research and innovation to unlock the future of visual AI. So they continued. I kind of just pulled out some of the more important parts here, but they said, much like Affinity, Leonardo AI will continue to develop its web platform for its millions of users, including its business customers, now accelerated with Canva's financial resources, expertise, and licensed content from our Canva Creators program. So that's kind of the first place I want to start. So just kind of recap that. If you're not familiar with what Leonardo is, you probably know what Canva is. Online design software, online design made easy, graphic design. So Leonardo AI is a text to image generation software. And I kind of want to just start this off by just giving a little bit of my experience with Leonardo. So I have not been a huge fan of Leonardo, which is kind of a bummer because I think it's a really great software. And I've tried to give it, a few tries, kind of messing with it and different things. And I followed their updates, and I really do think it's really good, but I just haven't been able to make it work great. And I say that because, in my opinion, I don't know if you've used it at all, Adrian, but it's like really complex. Like, it's just hard to use. There's a lot of features, like a lot of different things you can do. And so I've tried really hard to kind of figure out how to make it work for the things that I want to use it for, like the way that I use Midjourney or Ideogram or these other AI softwares that I love. And I just haven't had a lot of success with it. I recently did a YouTube video where I compared AI mockups from different AI generators to kind of see which ones created the best, like most realistic AI mockups. And I think Leonardo was like probably the scariest. It was the weirdest looking, the weirdest looking AI mockups. So
Like
it sounds like
fingers.
it sounds like I'm hate. Well, no, they had like these like Satan eyes. That was weird.
Oh,
I don't know what was going on. They had these like
creepy.
red eyes that were like piercing, like death
Oh,
eyes. I was like, why did you make my guy wearing a Bell and Canvas t-shirt with death eyes? It was
oh
weird.
my God, that's
It was weird,
crazy.
dude. You can go watch the video on YouTube, um, but
I'll have to
anyways,
check it out.
it sounds like I'm hating on Leonardo, but I'm really not. I just haven't been able to make it work. Like, I've seen some incredible results from Leonardo. Like, I have seen some awesome things. And I will say, one of the things they mentioned in this first part here is they said that their foundational model. They mentioned Leonardo's foundational model. What they're talking about is the Phoenix model. That's Leonardo's latest iteration of their kind of AI language. That kind of processes everything, and it's really good. Like, it's way better than the previous Leonardo models that I've seen. It does some really cool things. Handles text a lot better. Things like that. More realistic. But I thought what was interesting on this first one, that was just to give you a little bit of background on my experience. It's been really difficult to use. Is they said that Leonardo will continue to develop its web platform for its millions of users. Meaning, what that sounds like to me is that, like, Leonardo will continue to have a standalone software. They're not getting rid of the Leonardo software. That sounds like what that means to you?
Yeah, I mean, that's how I would interpret it. And I
Yeah.
think that that's a good thing because I'm guessing that not all their users use Canva.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah.
For sure. And so it says it's accelerated by Canva's financial resources, expertise, and licensed content from our Canva Creators program. So, if you're a Leonardo user, and I know, I have a program called AI Profit Club, and we have tons of people that love Leonardo and use Leonardo. So, if you're a Leonardo user, this sounds awesome because you're going to they're talking about, being able to tap into Canva's expertise, their financial resources. They're $1 billion company, which is crazy, and all of their licensed content. So hopefully that bolsters Leonardo, makes Leonardo even a better, a better software. And the last little part I want to read to you here, that I have in our notes here, it says, as well as using this acquisition to supercharge Leonardo's platform and user growth, we also plan to rapidly integrate Leonardo's leading technology and their Phoenix foundational model into our existing suite of Magic Studio products, such as our AI image and video generator, Magic Media. Deeper investment into foundational model research and development will be pivotal to both Canva and Leonardo, and we're enthusiastic to be also investing and supporting Leonardo's, specifically their B2B adoption. So business to business. Leonardo's, going after, I guess, the business to business model. So that's what we wanted to see right there, right? Is that part, Adrian, is telling us that Canva is going to be integrating Leonardo's technology into Canva. I think that's the most exciting part because a lot of our listeners here are Canva users.
Yeah.
So what are your initial thoughts on this, Adrian? What do you think about kind of all this?
Yeah, I mean, this is exciting. I'm really curious to know how quickly they're going to integrate Leonardo. I don't know what they were using before, but we joked about how bad Canva's AI was a couple times. It's all in good fun, but yeah, I'm excited for this, man. I haven't used Leonardo myself. I know Juna from Detour Shorts, one of our friends, he had used Leonardo, and
he talks about
really
it a
liked
lot. He makes a lot of videos on it.
He really liked it. He really likes it.
That's part of the reason I know it's good is because Juna uses it and he makes videos on it. But it's like every time I go in there and try to make something, I'm like, I can't make this work.
Well, it's funny because you play with a lot of AI softwares, and if you find this difficult, it's so interesting because if Leonardo's difficult, you think of Canva. Canva's like the simplest graphic design tool on the market that I know of, like the simplest good graphic design tool, like Canva and Kittle, right? So I hope that they take the complexity out for Canva users because us POD sellers, man, we're wearing all the hats, right? And so we don't want it to be complicated. So I hope they do a really good job of making it really, really simple.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the hope would be that, you still, like when you go into Canva, it's going to look like Canva, and behind the scenes, it's going to be a better AI language model that's processing these images. That's the hope, right? And that, in theory, feels like that would be pretty easy to kind of replace the technology that Canva's got on the back end there with Leonardo, and hopefully that's an easy upgrade. But also, I just know in Leonardo, I mean, there's just so let me just say this: of all the AI image generator softwares I've used, Leonardo by far has the most features and functions and like settings, and I mean, just like infinite possibilities of what you can do with that software. Like if you know how to use it, I'm sure like Juna really does, if you know how to use it for design, Leonardo's got to be pretty incredible, because it's just like there's just a lot in there. So if they can take some of those functions and make them user friendly inside Canva, the way that Canva is great at doing, making everything user friendly, I think it's going to be, huge. It's going to be awesome. It'd be really, really great. And I could be wrong on this, but I recently saw that I believe Leonardo is, I don't remember the specific software because I wish I could mention it here, but I believe Leonardo is integrated into some other softwares like the language models already. So I don't know if Leonardo is, kind of an open source type thing, but that knowing that they're already kind of integrated with some other softwares would make me think that it's probably fairly simple. I say simple, I wouldn't know how to do it, but fairly simple for Canva to get that to start, integrating that into Canva. So
I hope so, man. I'm excited to check it out. Like I use and love Canva. I use and love Kittle. I use and love them both. And they both have built-in AI softwares. My favorite way to use AI is actually to create design elements. Use something like a template in Kittle. And then if I can't find an element in there, just generate a prompt. And it's really good. So I'm hoping that Canva can do this too, because usually what I tell people is you don't need both. Like
you don't.
I use both. I love both, but you don't need both. So I want people to have the same abilities on both, right? Both softwares. So did they say how soon they were going to be like getting this going?
Not that I saw. Not that I saw. Hopefully it's quick, but I don't know. I think I'm excited about it. It's just interesting to me because it's almost a little bit of an acknowledgement by Canva, like, hey, our AI is not the greatest, so we're going to buy a company.
Dude, maybe they were listening to our podcast and they heard us saying that Kittle's AI was better. Like, oh man, we got to go buy a massive AI company just to like one up them.
Yeah.
Obviously
Canva, if you're
not.
listening,
I'm
we love you
joking,
so
but
much.
yeah,
Canva, we
we
love you if
love
you're
you.
listening.
Yeah.
No, it's just like, it's just interesting to me. I don't know if the other thing that I think about is Canva. So one of the differences between Canva and Kittl, in my opinion, tell me if you agree, is that Canva is like an all-in-one graphic design tool for anything, right?
Mm,
If you need social media, if you need, presentations, slides, YouTube thumbnails, I mean, like anything you can think of, right? Like,
yeah.
in addition to merchandise, like t-shirt designs, all that stuff, like it's like an everything graphic design tool. Whereas I really think Kittl is like more focused. It's not primarily, or it's not exclusively print on demand and apparel and that kind of stuff, but it's definitely like, it seems like they've tailored a lot of their tools and features towards print on demand and apparel sellers, which is our audience, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a big difference. And I think about Canva, like a lot of their AI stuff is like written, right? Like it's like, I need to write this thing, help me with this title, this slide, this, ideas, different things like that. And so Leonardo's not, I don't think is going to help with that side of it. It's really going to be the image generation side. Um, so I don't know. Do
Yeah,
you
no, I
agree with that
agree.
assessment?
I do agree with you. I think Canva's more comprehensive. They
Yes,
have
exactly.
more, but their designing, like the designing component is not as robust. And so Kittl isn't as comprehensive. It doesn't have all the features that Canva has, but I do think their designing functionality is better
Yeah.
because
For instance,
they have really good professionally designed templates. They have some great features and functionality for print on demand sellers. They can do things that Canva can't. I mean, keep in mind, both are always improving, which I
yeah,
love, but that's kind of how I compare the two. I would
yeah.
say that Canva's like really like the simplest to use, but it's not as feature rich on the designs, whereas Kittl has less stuff, but more like better on the
It's more
design element.
useful for us and our
Yeah,
audience, I think,
exactly,
which
exactly.
is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I was going to say an example was, the last few weeks I've tried to go into Kittl and create some YouTube thumbnails. I normally create those in Canva.
Mm,
And like it can be done. I got it done in Kittl. I was kind of testing it. But it's definitely easier in Canva. Like I preferred creating a YouTube thumbnail in Canva.
mm.
It was just way simpler. They had the features that I needed. Whereas like, over in Kittl, it was like, this is a little bit harder for what I'm looking for, some of the different things I needed. But anyways, it's just two different softwares. But
Right.
getting back to the AI, I think it will hopefully be awesome and hopefully be quick to really get some of those things integrated into there. I'm excited. Anything else you want to say about
Same.
Canva acquiring Leonardo?
No, man, I'm pumped. It's a big deal.
It'd be great. Yeah. All right, let's move into number 2, our second story of the day, of the episode, and that is Shopify Editions Summer Edition 2024. Shopify Summer Edition 2024. I wanted to talk about some Shopify updates that I think people will, the updates that people will find useful. We're not going to cover
Mm.
every update, but if you're not familiar with Shopify Editions, basically twice per year, so once in the summer, once in the winter, Shopify makes big updates to their software and they roll them all out in this big, bundle called Shopify Editions. And generally, it's somewhere like 100 plus features. This one specifically states 150 plus new features into the Shopify software, Shopify ecosystem. And so we're not going to cover all 150. In fact, the majority of those features are either small features or they don't really apply to our listeners or us. So I pulled out a few of kind of the bigger ones that will directly affect you as a seller, or us, and just want to talk about those. So the first one I want to touch on, I've just got 3 that I want to touch on here. The first one I would touch on is split shipping in checkout. So this is a new feature in checkout. It's basically when users have items shipping from multiple locations, they'll now be notified in the checkout. And if there needs to be additional shipping options, you as the seller can set up like very, I don't want to say complicated, but you can set up all different setting rules for a bunch of different scenarios. So it can get pretty complex on the shipping side. But essentially, what this is like in the past. So say that a customer, came to your store and they ordered like 4 items, and two of
Mm.
those items were coming from one warehouse, two of those items were coming from another warehouse. They would have no idea until they got the shipping confirmation, and it was like, two of your items have shipped. And you're like, what? What about the other 2 items? And then like a couple days later, the other 2 items shipped, right? Well, now you're going to have the ability to notify your customers in checkout. So before they buy, that items are coming from different locations, and you can set up shipping rules and shipping rates that are specific to those different scenarios or different items. So if they need one item faster than the other, they could pay for upgraded shipping on one item
Mm.
and get the other one on standard shipping, things like that. So a little more what's the word I'm looking for? Not I don't
Customer
like
friendly,
yeah,
customer
like
centric.
customizable shipping
Yeah.
rates and different things. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think for print-on-demand sellers, particularly those using multiple print-on-demand providers,
That's a
this
good
could be
upgrade.
really helpful. Like you
Yeah.
think about Amazon, they have this. When most
Mhm.
people when they buy multiple items from Amazon, they're not getting them from the same, from the same place. And a lot of the times, if you buy something that's fulfilled by Amazon and then you buy something that's fulfilled by the merchant, you're going to receive two different packages at two different times, and they let you know about that. So maybe it's Shopify kind of catching up and just being like, all right, we got to do this too. I think that this could be helpful for those people in particular. And it's just good to have that option. I
Yeah.
think it's nice, the customization, the customization. So
Yeah.
I'm a fan.
Yeah, I think it's good. The next feature, I think is probably the biggest one, but I also don't know that I want to spend a ton of time on talking about this one. But it's their Sidekick. It's their AI chatbot. So the Shopify Sidekick. I do find this really interesting and really potentially useful. Just always a little bit skeptical about these kind of things because it it
Mm.
it sounds very promising, but then I don't know if the real time application of it is going to be as useful. But it's Shopify's AI chatbot called Sidekick. So essentially, when you're in your Shopify account, you'll have a little chatbot there, a little AI chatbot that you can talk to, and it's your AI assistant. It's for you. This is not necessarily for your customers. This is for you, and you can ask it questions. You can make it do things in your store. And it's basically this AI assistant that's going to have access to all of your sales data, your products, all that kind of stuff, so that it can help you do specific tasks in your store. So pretty cool. Sounds pretty promising. So try to give you some examples here. So like Shopify Help Center, right? You can ask it any questions you want about how to do things in Shopify, how to fix issues, different things like that. The cool part is like it knows your business, so it can give you more tailored answers to your specific business. That's really
That's cool.
sounds really
That's
awesome.
really cool. Yeah.
The bigger thing is that you can ask it to do things. So like I put a couple examples here. I put, you could ask it to create a 10% off discount code and add it to an email that goes to your welcome list promoting your new fall 2024 collection of t-shirts. So let's say you were
That's
using the built-in
cool.
Shopify email, right?
Yeah.
You could be like, "Hey, create a discount code, write an email about this new collection of t-shirts I just created called Fall Collection 2024." And you could even say, just like you would do with maybe like ChatGPT, but it
Mm.
will do it for you. Is you could say, write an email and include these things, right? Um,
So I wonder because I mean Shopify email, it's pretty mid.
yeah, yeah,
I don't recommend it to people, but I like I wonder if you could just say, hey, create a 10% off coupon for a fall sale with code fall10. And it's just like boom, done.
yeah,
And now you
exactly.
can go into somewhere like Klaviyo or OmniSend, and then you can just do it. I mean, that still saves you time. All
It
those
does.
little things, they really do add up.
So,
And I will
like,
say there. Oh, go ahead.
no, no, no. Go. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that their help center is really good. So I do think
Mhm.
it's really cool that because a lot of times when you talk to their 24/7 live chat, they just send you links. Like you'll be like, oh, how do
Yeah.
I do this? And they'll just send you a link. And I mean, this is great. It saves you having to wait in the queue or having to wait for that person to send you the link. I think that's really great. But I still think this, the fact that it can actually create things like discount codes, time is money.
Yeah.
Every minute counts. So
Have you,
especially again for POD sellers where we're wearing so many hats.
yeah.
This
Have you
is
used, Shopify Magic at all? Have you done anything
I
with that?
have. I've used it a little bit. It's pretty good. It's like kind of like Canva, like for written,
Yeah.
pretty similar. So you can use Shopify Magic, for example, to write like a product description.
Yeah.
I would say that Canva's AI for product descriptions is really similar.
Yeah.
So the nice thing about the Shopify is that it's baked in. So
Yeah.
you
It's
don't
right
have
there.
to go into anywhere else. You can just do it straight from there. But yeah, it's pretty good.
So if you haven't used
Oh.
Shopify Magic, essentially what it is it's just it just helps you write anything you want to write, right? Like you can
Mhm.
do it in the theme editor. You can also do it in the product. So you can say write a product description for a certain product. In your theme editor, you might have it write about us, or you might have it write a headline or something like that. You can have it write things for you. The thing I like about it in the product description is that you can pick the tone, right? You can pick if it's like playful or like how you want it to sound. And that's the
Mhm.
part that I think is most useful is that. So with this new sidekick, you can essentially do that from anywhere, right? You could also use Shopify Magic. So you could say, hey, you could be on your homepage on your dashboard and say, hey, write me a product description for this or whatever, those kind of things. But another like some other things that you could possibly do with it, like, that I think would be useful is you could potentially ask it stuff like, hey, what's my best selling product in the last 30 days? Just ask, as you're kind of doing whatever you're doing, you're working in your Shopify store, just being like, hey, sidekick, what's my best selling product in the last 30 days? Show me my top 5 best sellers this year, those
Mm,
kind of things that it in theory could do. Um, I think that would be pretty cool.
that
Uh,
would be.
One thing that they're really touting on the Shopify editions, portion of this is that it can create and edit AI images for your store. I was trying to figure out, maybe you can fill me in. I was trying to figure out how this would be useful, really, because they're showing like what they're showing on there is like creating this AI image of like a vase or something, and then
Hmm.
you can like change the background, which I think is cool. I think it's cool that you can like edit it, but I'm like, even if you had a vase store, you couldn't have AI create a vase that you didn't sell. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it's like how is this useful? I don't know. But they're really pushing that as like one of the cool images or one of the cool features. I don't know.
maybe like I'm thinking maybe if you
Maybe I didn't
had,
read it
let's say
to
you had a
enough.
generic mock-up from your print on demand company and to be able to just spice up the background a little
Yeah,
bit.
I think you could do
For
that.
example, let's say you're in the basketball niche and to be able to have the background have some basketball
Yeah.
accessories, something like that. I guess that's kind of cool. Like that could, I mean, it would make it look less generic.
And that's one of the things that they showed. So that would be like, yeah, you could maybe upload a any kind of image and it would remove the background, change the background for you, those kind of things. I mean, I haven't tested it yet to see like if it can do mock-ups, if it can like kind of like I've shown on other AI softwares, if it could create people and that kind of thing. So something to try out.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last thing I want to mention about Sidekick is that you can actually do these things in the mobile app too, in the Shopify app. So you can access Sidekick in the mobile app. And I thought that was really useful because if you're on the go and you needed it to do something like create a discount code, you know, something like that, write a product description, maybe give you some analytics, or it specifically showed like the AI image features and that you can do that in the app. I do think that would be cool to be able to do that on the go. I think that's useful.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I really think this is a step in the right direction. Like
Mhm.
anything to help sellers save time or money, right? And
Mhm.
this should in theory be time savings. I think it definitely can be.
Yeah, for
Like the
sure.
assistant pops up right there, and you can ask it anything. It saves you the time of even just a couple of clicks to go find the help article on Shopify's website. You can even tell them that you want to talk to support. So I do think that it's going to save people time, and I'm all for that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest for me, the hardest part about using AI over the last like year and a half has literally been like just teaching myself to use it. Like
Mm-hmm.
not how to use it, like making myself remember to use it, for
Right.
things like you got the the sidekick thing. Well, now you have to remember to like, oh, I could do it. I could do this do this thing in Sidekick as opposed to the way I used to do it. It's like just getting in the habit of actually using AI. It will save you a ton of time, but you have to remember to use it for random things like that. It's like instead of going to Google, I'm going to go here, like and use this AI or whatever. So it's really useful when I use it. I just sometimes forget. But
Right. Same.
good. Same.
No, just
Yeah.
saying same.
We get set in our ways of doing things a certain way. And
Right.
like AI is such a like game changing revolutionary thing that it just breaks all of your patterns to be able to use it, so that can be challenging.
Totally.
The last feature I want to talk about with Shopify Editions, new feature, it's probably my favorite feature out of these three, Adrian, because I just love data and I love all this stuff. And it is a new analytics dashboard in Shopify. It looks really cool. The biggest feature of it, so they've kind of completely, redesigned the analytics dashboard. But the biggest feature is that it is now fully customizable. And so
Nice.
if you go into Shopify, you click on analytics on the left. Up on the top right, there's a customize button. You click on that, and over on the left side, this whole menu of different sales metrics and data and all that kind of stuff that you can literally just make your own dashboard. And I think that is awesome because it's like you're always having to like search around everywhere for the thing you want. And, it doesn't always give you what you want. So being able to customize it to exactly what you want to see is really, really cool, I think. What do you think?
100%, man.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
Like, I love what it shows kind of like out of the box.
Mhm.
And as a marketer, like, you got to pay attention to the numbers, and it's important to be making database decisions. So I love this. I always thought Shopify's analytics were like, they could have been better. And I know that there were softwares that would give you more
Yeah.
analytics and stuff. And it's just kind of a bummer that you have to go somewhere else for the analytics, for better analytics, or upgrade your account or something. So I think this is really cool.
Yeah. I think it's
Huge,
great.
huge fan. And there's there's a decent amount of options in these metrics.
For sure.
Important numbers that you want to be paying attention to. So this is great stuff.
Yeah. So those are three of the, I guess, best features that I kind of pulled out of the Shopify editions. If you want to see the full, report of all 150 plus features, you can go to Google, search Shopify editions. It'll pull up the website first there. I will say like a lot of the features, which I've noticed this in past editions as well, a lot of the features are in person, like retail features, which, I guess Shopify, even though I think of them as like a e-commerce online, which they are, they have a lot of people who use their POS system in retail and also, integrate their local store with their internet e-commerce site. Like it's all one, integrated.
Mhm.
So yeah, they have a lot of really cool stuff in there for retail. So that's something to think about.
I mean,
Ready to
that's
move on?
cool if someone decides to do pop-up shops too, right?
Yeah,
Or if someone's
absolutely.
doing like a festival or a market, something like that, then they can use that. It's pretty
Yeah.
cool to have that scalability kind of like built right in.
Yep. All right. Ready for the next one?
Bring it on.
All right. The next one is number three, our number three story. Etsy has been going through a lot of changes lately. Seems like a lot of things have been happening with Etsy. They've been kind of in the news a lot. So the one that I've got on here, I believe, is from last month, and it's a new Etsy policy on AI generated images. So this is a quick excerpt from a news article, which is a very few sentences here. It says Etsy has been grappling with an influx of generic junk and AI generated products on its platform. The service revised its seller policy on Tuesday, which was in July. introducing new labels that clarify whether a seller made, designed, sourced, or handpicked an item. This marks the first time it has dealt directly with artificial intelligence in its seller policy, with the addition of clear guidelines around what the site does and does not accept. So I've got a few bullet points about kind of just like, I guess, the more specific changes that they made. But here's my take on this from my research so far, Adrian. I think they made it almost more confusing. Like they did not make it easy to identify AI generated stuff, and I don't know how they're going to police it. So, like, let me give you the specifics on this as much as I
Let's hear
can.
it. Yeah.
So they have new labels on products, meaning that when you create a product, you'll select a label. Um, I looked up some of the AI generated products. Like I just literally just searched like AI to see like some AI generated products, and basically the one that you select, if it's AI generated, says designed by, and then it's like your company name. So it's like designed by Kerry's whatever teas or something.
Shop.
Kerry's, yeah, Kerry shop. So that's the first thing is like, does that tell you it's AI because it says designed by Kerry's shop? I was like,
Yeah.
that doesn't really help. Um, and so the other like requirement that they put in there is in the product description, you must disclose that the product is AI generated in the description. So I was kind of like, okay, so people are just going to put down at the bottom of like a long product description, like some things may be generated by AI, but like how are they going to police that? And so I don't know. I don't know how they're going to police it. But so I went in and I searched. So the big thing I thought about was mock-ups, right? Like I thought about mock-ups
Mhm.
because that's, specifically to our audience. And like one thing we've talked about a lot is when you go on Etsy, it's a great place to buy mock-ups.
Yeah.
The reality is a good percentage of those, I mean, we can maybe say 50% plus are AI generated. Maybe that's high. I don't know. But a large percentage of the mockups are AI generated. And that's not necessarily a
Right.
bad thing. I love AI mockups, and there's some really good ones on Etsy. I'm not saying that's bad, but I think it would be a good thing, a step in the right direction to know if those mockups were generated by AI. I think it'd be good to be able to differentiate, right? And another thing is you could charge a premium for real mockups, right? Like AI mockups are easier to make and sell.
Mm.
So like I think they should be cheaper, right? They're less expensive. So like you could charge a premium for the real mockups, but without being able to know which ones are AI generated and which ones are real, they're all just the same, essentially.
Right.
Um, so I went and searched AI t-shirt mockups. I thumbed through a bunch of them and I could not find a label or a product, anything in the product description on any of them. I mean, like I'm clicking the most obvious AI generated mockup, like this one is AI, no
It looks
doubt.
like a
And
mannequin. Yeah.
I could not find anything that mentioned that it was AI generated or
Huh.
like, and I'm sure there's some out there. Um, but anyways, let's get into the discussion on that. The last thing I wanted to note though is that one update that they did make is that you can no longer sell AI prompts or prompt bundles.
I
So
heard about that.
people were selling like these bundles where you could be like, here's a 1,000 prompts you can use in chat GPT or whatever. And you would like buy the bundle. You can no longer sell those products. Those are prohibited on Etsy, but I don't know. What do you think, man? I thought I was kind of disappointed in this update, but
Yeah, I just feel like this year, maybe I feel like this year in particular, Etsy has not been very seller centric.
yep.
And I love Etsy as a marketplace, as a complementary sales channel. But man, they're giving sellers like some troubles this year. And there's been so much drama. There's always drama this year in Etsy, whether it's about being able to even use mock-ups for print on demand products. Do you remember that drama
Yeah.
where stores thought that they were going to get their accounts terminated for using mock-ups? Maybe some did, actually. There might have even been some. And then there's AI drama, and there's just all these things. I feel like they need to sit down with some of their biggest print on demand sellers on a regular basis, like Josh Silverman. That's the CEO, right? That's his name.
I don't know.
I think that's his name.
Yes, it
I
is.
think I
Actually,
think
I
he
got it right here.
needs.
Josh Silverman.
Okay, yeah, he needs to sit down with Prime Styles. Like, you got to think that there are a lot of Etsy's fees are coming from print on demand sellers, and there's some high volume print on demand sellers on Etsy. I wish they would just consult a little bit. I feel like they're always trying to make moves to they're always updating their terms and conditions, and it makes it really frustrating for people selling on the platform, because then people are freaking out. They're hearing that they could get their accounts terminated, and I just don't think that they're this year in particular, they've been the best in their delivery and
Yeah.
especially in their clarity. It kind of reminds me of the Canva drama earlier, where they were saying, oh,
Print
you
on
can't
demand.
use
Yeah.
Canva for print on demand. It's like, and then that was debunked. And it does
Yeah.
seem like quite a bit of the Etsy drama gets debunked, but they shouldn't be giving such mixed signals, right? Like, the sellers
Mhm.
are a big part of their platform. They don't have products without their sellers. Etsy's not selling their own products, not that I know of. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
I wish these marketplaces, Amazon, I think, is definitely guilty of this too. I wish they would be more seller centric, and that they would just try to make it fair on both sides. Like, Amazon prides itself on being the most customer centric platform in the world, or one of them, right? But they treat a lot of their sellers like total crap. I know from personal experience, I do not like working with Amazon. They're
Yeah.
terrible because they don't care about their sellers. They care about their buyers. And I feel like Etsy and Amazon both need to do a better job kind of in that area. Like, guys, keep both happy, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, their stock, there's been a lot of talk about their stock as well. They're down 33% this year, which is that's a lot when you have a
Yeah.
publicly traded company. I mean, that's a lot. So down 33% this year. They've also taken a nosedive just in the last little while here last week. But yeah, I don't think that they made the best decisions this year on a lot of different things, and I feel like this just they were trying to make it more clear, but it feels like they just didn't try very hard. Like, why not just have a label that says made by AI? Like,
Yeah.
is there a reason they can't just have that? Like, and in my opinion, if you're what a lot of the tech companies are doing, especially the social media companies, is they're starting to have technology that can detect these things, that can actually detect the AI, because they're just trying to police this, like they police the copyright and trademarks. It's
Right.
not working, is it? It's
Right.
not. They're not policing it very well. I mean, anyways, I don't know.
And with all of Etsy's layoffs, they're not going to have anyone to police it soon.
Yeah, yeah. We love Etsy,
We love
but man,
you. We love you, but be more seller centric. Like, focus
yeah,
on both your customers and your sellers, because you need both.
yeah,
We want Etsy to continue to be a platform where print on demand sellers can thrive, but
yeah, for
we
sure.
need Etsy to, to treat these
Mhm.
sellers like they are valuable to them, because they absolutely are.
Absolutely. All right, our last news story of the day. I wanted to give some updates on new products that have recently dropped on print on demand. And really what it is it's just a few of our top or our favorite print on demand companies, just kind of what products they've been releasing lately. Just to kind of keep you updated. There was a few really cool things in here that I thought were very interesting, that I wanted to mention. So let's talk about new products recently dropped on print on demand, starting with Awkward Styles. I was checking out some of the new products on Awkward Styles. So they've been really focused on dropping USA made products. I think that's really cool. I think that's something a lot of people ask about. I know I get that question a lot in Shirt School, over in the challenge. A lot of people just ask, hey, I want USA made stuff. And I noticed that they've dropped the Bell and Canvas 3001 USA version, which is a
Mhm.
great T-shirt. There's two versions. I'm sure you're aware, but
Yep.
if you're not aware out there, there's two versions. There's a Bell and Canvas 3001C, and there's a Bell and Canvas 3001U, and the U version, the USA version, is the USA made.
Yeah, you pay a
Um,
little bit more for the USA made version,
yeah,
but then you can say made in the USA. So if you're like a patriotic brand, or if you're a brand that, wants all made in the USA products, then
yeah,
you can offer this. And then I would just offer it at a little bit of a premium.
yep. And I wasn't going to mention all the other ones, but they have added a few other products that are USA made. Awkward Styles also recently added trucker hats. Now they are DTG or DTF printed. They're not embroidered, but it is cool that they are, they added some hats, trucker hats specifically. I thought that was pretty cool. Next, talking about Printify. So this is really interesting. Printify recently introduced Adidas products. I thought that was really cool. It's a brand, higher end, I guess, a little more popular brand that you don't see on print on demand. So they released some Adidas products, specifically a unisex hoodie, unisex t-shirt, and a unisex crew neck sweatshirt. So that's something you're into, maybe more sports oriented products. Adidas carries a little bit more brand equity with that. Go check that out on Printify. They also dropped pickleball paddles. Let's go.
Yes. Dude, that just embodies like how big pickleball has gotten just in the last year alone. It's just continued to explode. I think that's freaking awesome. Obviously, it benefits pickleball brands the most, but I'm sure there's creative ways that other people can factor those in for sure.
Oh, for sure. Oh, you can make niche focused pickleball. I mean, exactly. 50 million people play in America, like for sure. But it's a pickleball set. It's like two little paddles with two balls is what it comes with. And basically you can print on the paddles. So you can kind of make the paddle to put whatever you want on the paddle. So that's cool. They also, one of the newer products is supplements. I feel like you mention this recently?
Yeah. They came out with that a couple months ago. Dude, it's not just one, it's a whole freaking line of supplements.
It's a lot.
There's 2 pages. Like if you go on their website, there's 2 pages of supplements.
There's like probiotics and like multivitamins for women and men. And like, I mean, it's like, there's a lot of stuff on there. And you basically just white labeled them, right? Like,
yep. That's exactly what it is. So there's things I love about this. One thing that I absolutely love about this is like, print on demand will continue to disrupt more and more industries as the years go on. It's already 100%. Happened. It's already started. It's continuing and it's going to continue. This is a multi-billion-dollar industry that has now been disrupted by print on demand. And I love that. And I think that there's so many, not just brands, like content creators, people out there that can now offer these. The only concern I have anytime it comes to supplements is you get a lot of questions. And I just hope that print on demand can support sellers in answering these questions, because if I'm selling something like this beetroot supplement and someone asks a question, I don't know anything about beetroot supplement. You know what I mean?
I know that's the thing that kind of scared me about it a little bit was like, are these good?
Right.
I don't know about you, but like anytime I'm going to buy a supplement, I do a lot of research. I'm looking on like Amazon or whatever. I'm on GNC or wherever, and I'm like looking for this specific thing, and I'm seeing like 5-6 brands, and I really read the reviews. Like that's something I read reviews for more than anything, is like the supplements. I want to know what people like. I want to know if there's any side effects, like what people are experiencing, like in the results or whatever. And so it's like I'm always really try to be really careful about what supplements I buy. So it's interesting.
Same. Yeah. It's going to be really interesting to see the brands that come out with this. Even apparel brands, like there's so many apparel brands that can experiment with these, and some might do really well. Like I immediately think of the fitness niche, right? Yeah. Like there's a lot of things in here, or just like some other sort of health and wellness niche that's too broad in my opinion, but something more nichey, a little bit more nichey than that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I did want to mention one other product on Printify, but I actually couldn't find it on their website. I'm a little bit confused. I want to lean on you if you've seen this. So one of my shirt school students, I saw on their Instagram that they were selling Stanley style tumblers in their store. Like they look almost identical to like the Stanley, cups that are super popular. They're everywhere. And I messaged them. I was like, where are you getting this? And they were like, oh, they're on Printify right now. Like they added them on Printify. And I checked her website before this episode, and she's still selling the Stanley style tumblers, but I can't find them on Printify. And I don't know if I'm like looking in tried searching. I looked under tumblers. Have you seen these on Printify?
No.
Well,
But I'm wondering if it's something like the stainless steel travel mug with a handle. Is that what
maybe
you're
so. Maybe
seeing?
some
Because
variant.
that's kind of like the closest thing that I know of on Printify, close thing to a
Yeah.
sound like, unless they just released it and I haven't seen it. I know one thing that's really popular one product that's really popular that they recently released was the iced coffee mugs. That was something the ones with the little lid and the straw built in, but
Yeah.
it's more of like a glass iced coffee mug. It's not like a Stanley mug. So all I can think of is that they're probably selling, if they're using Printify, they're probably selling the stainless steel travel mug, which is a mug with a handle, but it doesn't look that much like well, I don't think it looks that much like the Stanley mug.
Yeah, the
Maybe
one they're
a version
selling.
of a
Oh wait,
Stanley
no,
mug.
here it is. Here it is right here. Here it is. Oh, it says early access. So this must be a product that's inside. It's only inside the account. It's not showing publicly.
Okay.
So I logged into my Printify account, went into the products. It says early access, and it's called an insulated travel mug, 40 ounce.
Where
And
I'm in my Printify account right now. What did you go to?
I just went to catalog and then
Yeah.
went to bottles and tumblers,
Okay.
and then I scrolled down and it's on the first page and it says insulated travel
Oh,
mug, 40 ounces, early access. And they've got like different colors. I mean, it's pretty awesome. Like I've been waiting for this. I've been waiting for
yeah.
this for so long. Do you see
Yeah,
it?
I remember we talked about this in past
Yeah.
episodes. I'm still looking for it.
Anyway, I can send it to you after the call, but
Yeah.
after this episode, we're just sitting here like, where is it?
Yeah, no, that's
Anyways,
awesome. That's
yeah, it's really cool. So yeah, check that out.
very cool.
All right, the last company I want to mention, some new products released is Gelato. I'm a big Gelato fan, and they have been rolling out like not only so many products, but so many new features. So like I've talked about it already, but just want to mention because it relates to what I was going to talk about is earlier this year they launched embroidery. But what's cool about the embroidery is it's not just a certain type of product. Like you can embroider on almost any kind of apparel that they have, which is really cool. But they've been leaning heavy into hats, and they're fully embroidered hats. And I actually ordered some for myself, which is really cool. I've got a couple at home, but they've got like bucket hats, trucker hats, dad hats. They've got snapback hats. They've got fitted hats, like a lot of color options. I think they said they have over 70 different styles or variants of hats, which is cool.
That's awesome.
So there's a lot of cool hat stuff on Gelato. I recently went into the women's clothing category, looked under there, and man, I can't mention them all here, but you should, if you're into like the women's clothing category, you should definitely go look at Gelato's women's clothing selection. So they've got on both men's and women's, they just released Under Armour, really cool. We just talked about Adidas.
Cool.
Gelato's got Under Armour. They have Champion stuff, which was just on a best-selling products report that we went through on a recent episode.
Mm-hmm.
They have also added recently the Comfort Colors 1717, which is like taking the print-on-demand world by storm.
That makes me so happy for all the Gelato sellers. And we've got a number of students that sell with Gelato, and they've been limited with Comfort Colors. You know, I love Comfort Colors so much. It's so trendy. It's so popular. People love wearing it. And I just wish every print-on-demand company would have this. I wish it was a staple item for every single one. So that's great news.
So under women's clothing, like things like cropped hoodies, cropped tees, a lot of different styles of tank tops. They've got like some kind of cropped tank tops, tighter fitting, loose fitting. They've got a lot of women's clothing stuff that I really thought was very cool. And then also in men's clothing, they've released some oversized t-shirts, which are great. A bunch of USA made stuff that I mentioned that earlier. Gelato has also launched some USA made products, and they had a quarter zipped t-shirt, sweatshirt, sweatshirt, which I thought was really cool. So that's something to go check out. So lots of good stuff.
Yeah, I'm impressed. I'm impressed with Gelato, man. I remember talking to them at the Gelato Accelerator Summit last summer,
Mhm.
and I was like, "Y'all really got to improve your apparel catalog, like
No,
a lot." And
they've
I
been very
sat
focused on
down with
apparel.
one of their like, I don't know, I forget what her role was, but she was very high up in the company. And we sat down and I listed a whole bunch of products that they needed. And it just makes me so happy because, one thing I love about Gelato is they really do listen
They
to
do.
their customers, to sellers, to coaches. They're really open to feedback. And a lot of times they're really quick to make improvements. So this just makes me so happy because that was always one of my kind of criticisms of them, even though I think they're awesome. One of
Yeah.
my biggest criticisms was you need to be more competitive with companies like Printify and Printful in terms of your apparel catalog. Like they're really good at a lot of things, wall art, embroidery, customization, but I felt like that was somewhere really lacking for them. So this is awesome to see them stepping up their game. I just want every print-on-demand company to keep stepping up their game so that people don't feel the need to jump from one print-on-demand to another. Because even though it's doable, I've done it, it's not the end of the world. Obviously, that's going to take some time and it's going to take some of your energy. And that's energy you could be focusing on revenue generating activity, right? Like design, research, design, creation, and marketing. So this is awesome.
Yeah, they've really bolstered their apparel category. I would
Love
encourage
that.
everybody to go check it out. Just go to gelato.com, check out the product. Just go to their products, and when you go to any category, you can select new, and it'll show you like some of the new products. But you can also just look at the whole product selection because they've really added a lot of stuff, eco-friendly stuff, organic, USA made, and then higher end brands like Champion, Under Armour. Like it's pretty impressive to see, and just the styles. But Adrian, I think that wraps up our news episode. What's happening? I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I want to thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you in the next one.
Peace. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Print on Demand Playbook Podcast. If you enjoy this episode, please leave us an honest review on whichever platform you're listening from. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much, and we will talk to you very soon.